What's up? This is Dr. Olson from Innovative Dental, and we get a very common question in our practice that I wanted to answer today, and that is, what is the difference between veneers and crowns? And so I understand why it's a common question, because it's the main two ways that dentists restore teeth, and they're used kind of primarily for two different roles. So first would be the dental crown. So you've heard of that before. I say sometimes we call it a cap. But a crown is basically something we use to restore the structure and strength to a tooth that's pretty badly damaged. An example of a crown would be something that typically wraps around the tooth, and I've got a good example of that here. Let me see if I can zoom in and show you that. You see it on my finger? Kinda, sorta, not at all. Okay, there you go. There is an example of a crown. If I were to spin that around, you can see on all different sides, it kind of wraps around the tooth. The top of the crown would look very similar to a natural, let's see here if I can focus. So yeah, top of the crown would look very similar to the top of a natural tooth. So there's an example of a crown. We make these in our office in a single visit with a special type of high strength porcelain, and we glaze them and customize them to bond to the tooth immediately. So those are that's kind of the main one that you've probably heard of. If you're interested in changing up your smile and improving your smile, you may have heard of the term veneer. A veneer is mostly used to change the shape and shade of a tooth permanently. We can do that with much less reduction and much less tooth removal. So you're able to keep more of your tooth structure, and keeping your tooth stronger obviously is a very good goal for us as dentists, and it's one thing that we have a big advantage over when we do a veneer as opposed to a crown. So if you're interested in having your smile improved, you're gonna want to have a veneer done rather than a crown. An example of reason why you might want a crown done in the smile area would be because you have a tooth that has many fillings in it, or maybe it has decay, and the decay is so large that a crown is needed. Or maybe you had a root canal in that tooth, and because of the root canal, there's not enough tooth structure for a veneer really to be successful and be strong enough. Your dentist might recommend that you would need a crown rather than a veneer on a front tooth in case you had a root canal. A good example I'll show you of a veneer would be this little guy right here. And you'll notice there's some stain on the backside. That's purposeful, but we put that there in order to make it look even more natural. But here's a veneer. So you can see the backside of the tooth is gone. Do you see that there? So it just covers the front side, and it's a lot thinner, a lot smaller. It's usually about 1 millimeter in thickness. On a model, I have a few models here. This is an idea of what a veneer might look like on a model. This is a good example. See there? The tooth structure is still left on the backside. So a huge benefit there to a patient would be that when you chew, your bite, you're able to still hit on your teeth rather than hitting on the porcelain. If you're hitting on the porcelain, obviously the dentist had to remove that tooth structure. There's another reason why maybe a veneer would be a better solution, because you have to remove a lot of tooth structure to do that. So I think that kind of sums up the two different types of restorations, crowns versus veneers, and why one might be beneficial over the other. Probably looking at crowns for more of a cavity fix, more of a structural issue to the tooth, and then a veneer more for cosmetic, changing the shape or the shade permanently. And one huge advantage of a veneer over natural teeth is that veneers don't stain. So coffee, tea, wine, anything that would normally stain teeth doesn't stain a veneer. So that's kind of a nice benefit. You're not gonna have to keep bleaching your teeth nonstop. So at that note, one reason why why are so many teeth treated with crowns when really a veneer would be a better suited option for the patient? And the reason why is because there's an issue with restoring temporarily a veneered prep. So if you are working on a tooth that you are minimally reducing and barely taking maybe a credit card's width away, you can see how there could be a real issue here with how are we going to give you a few weeks while a lab makes your permanent veneer and give you something that at least is temporary for you. That is one huge advantage of getting your cosmetic dentistry done with veneers at Innovative Dental. We utilize technology that allows us to transform a smile in a short visit, 3.5, 4 hours. And we utilize technology that makes the veneers here. So there is no lab, so there's no temporary. And because there's no lab, there's no temporary, we can be very conservative with your tooth, and we have total control over the outcomes of your smile. Here I can hopefully illustrate the ways that Innovative Dental is able to restore teeth with same-day technology. This is one of our 4 units that's capable of imaging teeth with this 3D intraoral camera. And the wand here is going to capture 18 frames a second, and all of them are 3D. It's going to build a 3D model on our computer here. And that's what we use to design your crown and your veneer. And the first screen here, you'll see we're able to click on the proper tooth and tell the software whether we're doing a crown, an inlay or onlay, or veneer. We can do bridge work, we can also do implants, but that's a whole different discussion. So here I've decided to show you what a crown looks like. It's this tooth that I have highlighted right here. And then here's what a veneer looks like. And it's the little blue sliver you kind of see on the front of that front tooth. Let's go ahead and go to the area where I can show you the imaging and how that looks. I think you'll probably appreciate, if you haven't seen this before, it's really cool. So this camera is already pulsating and taking a bunch of images. Now you can see it start to build a model. Isn't that cool? And this is how we're able to do crowns, veneers, bridges, implants. We utilize it for Invisalign therapy, so we to straighten teeth. We don't take your typical impressions anymore because of this technology. So really neat, right? So the days of impression material and gagging and, you know, about passing out in the dental chair because you're trying not to swallow the impression material, those days are gone at Innovative Dental. So that's one thing we really think is pretty cool that we've invested in for our patients' benefit. We're able to skip ahead here. I wanted to show you, this is what the model would look like if I can get rid of these screens. And here's the model of the teeth I just imaged. Isn't that neat? So we can design on this your veneers and crowns. And then we're able to send them to one of our 4 milling machines. So that is how that process works. If you thought that was pretty cool and interesting and might be a game changer for you and your maybe dental phobia or the way that you've had dentistry given to you in the past, we would love the opportunity to meet you and discuss how we can help you with your smile. If it's just for a single crown, awesome. If you're wanting to transform your entire mouth and do full mouth rehabilitation, we can do that too here with implants and crowns, bridges, veneers, whatever's best for you. And we go over all that in a very comfortable environment here at Innovative Dental. And so thanks for your time. Thanks for listening. Check us at idspringfield.com. You can give us a call here at our office. We'd love to speak with you. It's 417-889-GRIN. And definitely connect with us through Facebook if this is where you're seeing this, or YouTube. And we would love to chat with you. If they found this useful, would you please give it a like or leave an encouraging comment below or a question below, and we would love to respond to that. Otherwise, you have an awesome day and look forward to chat with you later.